Here we have another question about percentage yield. A student prepares a solution which contains 15 grams of silver nitrate. She adds more than enough hydrochloric acid solution. More than enough just means that it's not going to limit the reaction so that the reaction can proceed completely. 36.10 grams of white silver chloride precipitate is formed. And we are asked what is the percentage yield for silver chloride. Remember that percentage yield is equal to actual yield divided by theoretical yield multiplied by 100%. Actual yield is always given to you. Now remember that yield refers to product. These are the products. And you only have one piece of information about a product, and that is 36.1 gram of silver chloride. This is silver chloride here. So it's the product that we're looking at here, the yield of. So 36.10 is the actual yield. Now obviously to answer this question we also need the theoretical yield, but we're not given that. We have to find that. How do we find that? We are told that 15 grams of silver nitrate, so that is a reactant. So in these questions you're always given the mass of a reactant, and this is the one. Silver nitrate is the reactant in this example. And from this information we are going to find out what would the theoretical yield be if all of these 15 grams were pure and they all reacted completely to form silver chloride. So we have to make our own sub-question from that, and that is what mass of silver chloride is formed from 50 grams of silver nitrate. That's another way of asking what is the theoretical yield of silver chloride when 50 grams of silver nitrate reacts. So we need to answer this sub-question first. Then we can come back to answering this question here. So our question is, what's the mass of silver chloride formed from 50 grams of silver nitrate? So to answer that, we need information about the reaction ratio of silver nitrate and silver chloride, because they are the substances for which given information is provided and which we're asked about. So first of all we have a balanced equation. Here it is, very simple. 1 is to 1 is to 1 is to 1, and that gives us the mole reacting ratio of these particular substances. We are only interested though in silver nitrate and silver chloride, and we need to convert that into a mass reacting ratio. So we need the molar mass of silver nitrate and the molar mass of silver chloride. Silver nitrate 108 multiplied by 1 for silver, plus 14 again multiplied by 1 for nitrogen, plus 3 times 16 for oxygen. 170 grams per mole. That's the molar mass of silver nitrate. 1 mole of silver nitrate would have a mass of 170 grams. Silver chloride 108 for the silver, plus 35 for the chlorine. 143 grams per mole is the molar mass of silver chloride. 1 mole of silver chloride has a mass of 143 grams. So the reacting ratio that's relevant to this question is 170 grams of silver nitrate will produce 143 grams of silver chloride, or any other numbers that are in the same ratio as this. So we can use this information to answer our sub-question, which is, how many grams of silver chloride would you get from 50 grams, not 170 grams, but 50 grams of silver nitrate? So there's our sub-question, just worded a little bit differently, but it doesn't matter. Calculate the theoretical yield of silver chloride from 50 grams of silver nitrate. And here we have the reacting ratios. Silver chloride is to silver nitrate. So we write our question down in equation form. What's the theoretical yield? In other words, how many grams of silver chloride will you get from 50 grams of silver nitrate? We need to multiply this by a conversion factor which we get from the reacting ratios. We need to have grams of silver chloride at the top, and we must have grams of silver nitrate at the bottom to cancel away that unit. 50 multiplied by 143 divided by 170. 42,06 grams of silver chloride. Remember, that's only the answer to our sub-question. Actual yield divided by theoretical yield multiplied by 100%. And we've got the actual yield here on the question, 36,10 grams. And the theoretical yield is what we've just calculated, 42,06 grams. We multiply that by 100%, and now we can get our answer. 36.1 divided by 42.06 multiplied by 100% equals 85,83%, meaning that about 86% of what you should have got, you actually got.